Hello and welcome to another episode of Puttering Outdoors. Today we're going to do something with this pond, or for this pond. On our property, I don't know if you know or not, we have about a quarter acre pond. In this pond we do have some goldfish. They're not native to this area, of course. We live in New Brunswick, Canada, and these goldfish were here when we got the property. I've noticed last year that the goldfish were gasping for air at the top of the pond. There's not a good water flow into the pond itself, so there's no good aeration going into the pond. So what I want to do is actually create a fountain, or make a fountain, so to give the pond a little bit more aeration and, you know, give the fish some good air to breathe, I guess. Last year or the year before, we had seen, I think, like 7 pretty good sized goldfish, and then the following year, at the end of the season, we saw a bunch of little ones. So they are surviving, even though it's not the ideal conditions, but you know, they are surviving. But we just want to help them out. I know they're not native to this area, they can be an invasive species, but for them to get out of this pond, it's never going to happen, just because the stream flowing out is very little, and they wouldn't survive past 100 feet probably, because it flows out, then it pretty much sinks into the ground. So I have somewhat of a plan for the fountain. I could just go out and buy one, but they're quite expensive. They're like, I don't know, like anywhere from $900 to $3,000, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on a fountain. So what I did is I bought a pump, and I'm gonna create my own fountainhead, hopefully. In order to do that though, we're gonna have to go into the garage. It's the first beautiful day we have here in quite a while. It's been raining for like 2 weeks straight. We did get one little break in the weather, good enough for us to see the total solar eclipse that just passed through here last week. Wow, what a beautiful thing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get working on the fountain. Okay, to power the fountain, I bought this VivoSun pump off Amazon. It's a 9,000 gallons per hour pump. Draws 5.1 amps. I don't know what else to say about it. I got it off Amazon. It was about 250 bucks, I believe. And in order to float this, I'm gonna use this bucket full of styrofoam, upside down of course, and the nozzle, the pump or the pipe will go through this, and somehow I'll have to attach this to the pump, and that's what I gotta figure out. And then I will create a nozzle out of this cap here, and I'll drill some holes, some slots, and try to come up with a clever design. It's not very big. I hope it's gonna do good enough. We'll have to try it out, and I'll make it in a way where I can maybe replace this if I want to change the design of the fountain. 1 cubic foot of water weighs about 62 pounds, and this is a little bit less than a cubic foot, so it should be able to float this 16-pound pump, I hope. All I got to do now basically is figure out a way to mount this bucket upside down to this. I don't want the pump to go way down to the bottom and start drying up silt. I got to figure out how to get it to float properly and hang down. I mean, yeah, I'll have to think about it. Okay, I'm gonna drill the hole for the nozzle, or the fountainhead, to come out here. The reason why I'm not putting it in the center is because I don't want the fountain to lay crooked, because if I put it right underneath this, then the weight's not going to be centered, and this is as much. I should go out a little bit more, to be honest, but I mean, I don't have enough room, so that's where I'm going to go. I don't have the hole saw big enough to fit this pipe, this 2-inch pipe, so I will have to drill a pilot hole and then finish the rest with a jigsaw. Not the easiest thing to cut. Good thing it doesn't need to be watertight. And I'm going to use this coupling to seal it from side to side so it doesn't move up and down. I can set it at a certain height and that's it. It'll stay there once I glue it together. I might have to notch this out so I can fit this. I just notched this out on the bench grinder. So much easier. Now this will fit in there. So now I gotta cut some pipe. And just to show you, there's a thread in here that this fits into. Originally this came with this fitting, so you can put a flexible pipe in it, but I didn't want to use a flexible pipe. I wanted to use a sturdy pipe just to help keep everything together better. So I just got to glue this up together and glue a pipe in here, glue the transition, I guess. Anyways, there's a lot of gluing involved. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a box out of wood that this bucket will fit into tightly, and then I'll be able to screw this plywood down to the box itself. On the box I'll have risers, I guess, that will go from this slip right up to this slip, so I can screw this down to it, and it'll cinch everything together to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. As you can see, I got the pipe, I don't know if you can see in there, but I got the pipe attached and it's coming out to the bottom. It's not going to be that long, of course. I'm going to cut it down. And so what I'm going to do next now, I guess, is do this box. I might make a 6-sided box, or I don't know, just maybe a simple box. Yeah, just simple box. Keep it simple, I guess. So let me go ahead and do that. I hope I have enough scrap wood around. I got this, but I got a lot more out back. I'll go get some 2x4s. One thing I like about making it out of wood is it's gonna add more buoyancy to the bucket, to the pump, to make sure that it floats. I just hope that it doesn't float so high that it makes it unstable. But of course I can remove some of the styrofoam that I will have in there, since, you know, I'll hold this with screws and I'll be able to remove the screws, take this out, and yeah, it should be good. I was gonna make 2 fittings in here to hold this together. I don't think I will now that I have this whole system set up. I'll have it that the cat for that makes the fountain held on by a screw and not glued on, just so that we can remove it, replace it, and even remove this if we need to. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the width of the button or of the bucket at the rim down there, and this is the best way I know how to do it. That's about 10.5. That's about 10.5. So we got 11.5 width. 11.25. Because you can't just measure here because it is flared. So I figure it's 11 3/8. I don't know. Let's make a box 11 3/8. If anything, it'll be tight and it'll stop short. I forgot to take into account the thickness of the wood, so my box is going to be a little bit too small. So, and I don't have any more 1x3s or 2x3s like that, and all the other wood that I have is pressure treated 2x6 and 2x8s and 2x10s. So I'm going to go ahead with 2x6. It'll just make it sturdier, I guess. Hopefully it's safe for the fish. I mean, it's a big pond. So let me go ahead and not forget to add 1.5 thickness to the box. So 11 3/8 plus 1.5 should be 12 7/8, something like that, or 1/8. 13 1/8. I'll figure it out. Anyways, so let me get those. I mean, I got this piece here and I got another piece, so I definitely have enough. Gonna drill a pile of holes since it's close to the edge. Last corner. I'm making this super simple. I'm not gonna over engineer this one. It's a box. And now that fits in it and it gets caught by the lip. Exactly what I wanted. And then I'll be able to make some risers off of this where I can attach this to that. I just gotta figure out how to do the risers here, or even on the outside maybe, so I can attach the top plywood to this. It's coming along. Not the prettiest thing, but that will all be underwater, so you won't even see it. Hopefully it's not gonna float that much. Okay, so I measured how much pipe I needed with an extra little bit at the end, and I needed about 12 inches. And now I'm gonna glue this fitting that attaches into the pump onto here. And then after that, it's time to make the nozzle. I'm just gonna have probably a screw holding this in here. It's just to figure out how to make what pattern to make for the holes. I got an idea. Okay, I want to drill these holes at an angle so it, you know, the fountain has some girth, I guess, to it, or spread. So I'm gonna try this. I don't know, man. This looks a little sketchy to me, but I think I got to make quite a few holes just because this is a pretty high flow pump, so I got to make quite a few holes for it to work properly. Just trying to figure out what hole pattern to do. This might be a big bust too, never know. I mean, it's gonna throw water, that's for sure. There's a hole pattern. Not sure what it's gonna do. Okay, now I want to drill the screw to the retention screw to hold the nozzle in place. I'm pretty sure this is a brass screw, so it shouldn't rust. There. One little problem though, these holes are kind of blocked by the pipe itself, but it should still be okay though. It'll just add more pressure, I guess. I'm excited to see how it's gonna work. There we go, it's all together. Not sure how it's gonna work. Let's put the nozzle back on. I guess now we gotta see if it floats. All right, let's go. I'm gonna run a temporary extension cord just to be able to plug it in, and then we'll turn it on and see how it looks. It's easy to remove some of the styrofoam, and we'll definitely have to do that because it's way too high. work.
That's beautiful.
That's not bad, huh?
That's great. The fish are gonna love it.
That's way better than I expected.
Yeah, that's really big.
That will definitely aerate the pond. All I got to do now is figure out the right ballast so it sits a little bit lower, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I tried to make the fountain a little bit less buoyant. I ripped down my 2x6s to 2x4s, and I also trimmed down the plank there to fit exactly. Hopefully it won't be quite as buoyant where it will float right up. I still got a piece of foam in here, just one piece, in case this gets waterlogged. I don't want it to sink right to the bottom, and hopefully that piece of foam will help keep it above the surface. And by the way, this is the day after. Had to go to a Suns hockey game. Big leech. Still floats quite a bit, more than I'd like. Alright, as you can see, it's not 100% perfect, it's a little tilted, but I don't think it'll matter much. I added a rock inside the bucket and a rock on the edge just to, you know, make it not tilt so much and to sink a little bit more. I think the next thing is to take out the kayak and add the mooring lines. I don't know if you guys can see all the goldfish there. There's at least 20. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. I'm glad to see them back. I know they're not a native species, but they're still animals, so we're gonna try to take care of them. Oh. That's not good. That's so much suction. Maybe I needed all that buoyancy. Sorry for the wind. But when we tried it earlier, just the pressure from shooting up the water was shooting down the fountain to the bottom. So what I did is I drove a couple of stakes into the bottom of the pond and drilled or screwed the fountain to it. So now that when we turn on the pump, it doesn't shoot it down. It was quite the struggle out there with the kayak, trying to screw in stuff, hammer in piers, and yeah, so I think it's gonna stay like that for the rest of the summer. Next year we might come up with better plans. All right, well, pretty happy with the results. I was thinking about it. Next year what I might do is I might take a cinder block or something and make a structure where it'll just sit straight on the pond floor, and the bucket will be exactly at the right level, so you just see the top of the bucket or the top of the nozzle. That'll be ideal. But for this year, I think this will be good enough. We'll deal with that when we take it out of the pond. It'll be a winter project for next year. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and hope to see you in the next one.